In this moment, as you hold these words in your hands, know that they are not mere letters on a page, but a lifeline woven with urgency and grace. A force greater than yourself has guided you here, piercing through the noise of everyday life to deliver a truth you can no longer afford to overlook. Your very existence stands at a crossroads, and what comes next requires your immediate attention, not tomorrow, not later today, but now. There is a quiet storm raging within you, one your conscious mind has dismissed as fatigue or stress, but which carries far greater weight. The divine, in its infinite compassion, has intercepted this crisis before it could fully unravel, and what follows is both a warning and an act of profound love. You've grown accustomed to the subtle whispers of discomfort, the unexplained heaviness in your limbs, the fog that lingers longer than it should. The fleeting pains you've shrugged off as normal. These are not random occurrences, but signposts, carefully placed to redirect your gaze inward. The Creator, who shaped every cell within you, sees what medical scans cannot yet detect. Where you perceive only vague unease, heaven discerns the intricate map of a battle being waged beneath the surface. This is not punishment, but protection, not condemnation, but a clarion call to partner in your own healing. Consider the precision of this moment, how these words find you now, when distractions fade and truth echoes loudest. The angels tasked with your care have long sounded alarms your physical senses muted, their efforts culminating in this divine interruption. What you label coincidence, the sudden impulse to pause, the inexplicable urge to listen, is in fact celestial orchestration. A malignancy, whether physical or rooted in generations past, has sought to claim ground in your body, its approach masked by routine and rationalization. But light now floods its hiding places, exposing what darkness hoped to conceal. This is sacred warfare, a clash between forces seen and unseen. The fatigue weighing you down isn't merely the toll of daily life, but the residue of ancient conflicts, vows spoken over your lineage, patterns of neglect, silent agreements made before your first breath. Like tendrils, they've wound their way into your present, masquerading as just how things are. But the cycle stops here. Today, chains that bound ancestors dissolve as you choose obedience over complacency. That persistent ache in your side, the dizziness you blamed on poor sleep, these are not your burdens to carry forward, but echoes of battles already won on your behalf. Yet victory demands your participation. The mighty healer who knit your bones together in secret now urges you into the care of hands divinely prepared. That physician you've debated consulting? The clinic you've driven past 3 times? These are waypoints on a path laid out with meticulous care. Every test, every scan, every question asked in sterile rooms becomes holy ground where heaven's strategy unfolds. What seems clinical and cold is in fact the physical manifestation of grace, a bridge between spiritual promise and earthly reality. Resistance will come. The mind conditioned by doubt will whisper, "This is excessive," while fear hisses, "What if they find something?" But courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the choice to act despite it. Recall the countless times you've been shielded, near misses on rain-slicked roads, infections that mysteriously lifted, the strange intuition that guided you away from harm. These were not random favors, but proof of a love too vast to leave you unaided now. The same power that parted seas and resurrected dry bones has already gone before you, turning what the enemy meant for destruction into a testimony of mercy. Perhaps you've dismissed the timing, attributing this urgency to anxiety or superstition. But deep within, beneath layers of logic, your spirit recognizes truth. That tightening in your chest as you read isn't panic, it's confirmation. The divine speaks in frequencies that bypass the mind to resonate directly with the soul. What feels like dread is actually awakening the inner self, shaking off slumber to confront what must be faced. Consider the meticulous preparation behind this moment. For weeks, unseen hands have guided researchers to refine diagnostic tools. A nurse's random training seminar equipped her to spot anomalies others might miss. Even the administrative delays you found frustrating were divine pacing, ensuring your path crosses with those ordained to aid you. This isn't happenstance, but a tapestry of intervention, woven thread by thread across time and space. The enemy's greatest deception lies in convincing you that urgency equates to despair. But the pounding of your heart as you read these words isn't terror, it's the thrill of a warrior receiving strategy mid-battle. Every symptom, every unexplained test result becomes intelligence to thwart the adversary's plans. What was meant to isolate will instead connect you to healers. What sought to drain vitality will unveil reservoirs of strength. The shadows retreat not when you curse them, but when you flood them with obedience-fueled action. Generational strongholds crumble through acts of faith. By choosing the clinic over the couch, the specialist over skepticism, you rewrite narratives etched in family histories. That diabetes, that cancer, that mysterious ailment whispered about at reunions, their reign ends as you walk into the waiting room. Each step forward is a declaration. The curse stops here. Modern medicine becomes a sacrament, scalpels and stethoscopes transformed into instruments of deliverance. You are not navigating this alone. Legions mobilized at your first heartbeat now stand at ready, their strategies synchronized with earthly physicians' expertise. When the doctor leans in to explain results, know that wisdom flows from beyond textbooks. When treatments commence, unseen warriors intensify their guard. This is collaborative warfare, your obedience activating heaven's full arsenal. Procrastination wears many masks. I'll go after this project once things calm down. I can't afford it right now. But each excuse subtly shifts ownership from the provider to your limited understanding. The God who positioned help along your path has already handled logistics. Your role isn't to figure out the how, but to follow the where. That clinic offering sliding scale payments? The friend who mentioned a brilliant internist? These are not random details, but breadcrumbs along the trail to wholeness. Some battles are won on knees, others in waiting rooms. Faith isn't bypassing action, but recognizing divine partnership within it. Moses lifted his staff, expecting God to part the sea, not do it while he napped. Your staff is the phone in your hand, the appointment you'll book, the honesty you'll share with medical staff. Miracles bloom where human effort and heavenly power converge. The love behind this warning is fierce, unyielding, relentless. It's the parent snatching a child from an oncoming car, not pausing to explain until danger passes. Later there will be time for understanding, for tracing how early detection saved you, how obedience rerouted tragedy. For now, trust the raw urgency that quickens your pulse. The one who numbered your days also numbered the hairs on your head. Would such precision abandon you now? Nightmares thrive in secrecy, but exposure to light strips their power. By walking into that exam room, you're not admitting weakness but wielding authority. Each vial of blood drawn becomes a sample of victory. Every scan's glow illuminates the enemy's retreat. What hides in shadows cowers before truth's brightness. This is your Gethsemane moment, the choice to embrace the cup of action despite trembling hands. Remember, the garden of anguish preceded the resurrection. Temporary discomfort births eternal triumphs. The IV line, the biopsy, the anxious nights awaiting results, these are not your end, the birth pangs of a testimony in the making. You've been encoded with resilience. That flicker of hope you've suppressed, fan it into flame. The stories of survivors you've admired, they too once stood where you stand, torn between fear and faith. Your narrative now joins theirs, not as a victim, but as a victor in progress. Every medical form you complete etches your name in the annals of overcoming. Time bends around obedience. What appears as a race against the clock becomes a divine synchronization. The specialist with an unexpected opening, the canceled appointment that becomes yours, these are time warps crafted for your rescue. Seconds matter, but eternity shapes them. Your yes today alters timelines, halting avalanches of consequence before they gain momentum. Let gratitude be your compass. Each symptom, however unsettling, served as a love letter, a nudge toward life. The weariness that finally made you listen, mercy in disguise. Even the fear you fight is proof of how deeply you're cherished. We only fear losing what we're meant to keep. As you move forward, cloak yourself in peace, not as the world gives, but as the one who calms storms offers it. Let it guard your heart when doubts arise. When the enemy replays worst-case scenarios, counter with memories of past deliverances. That car accident walked away from. The fever that broke against odds. Write them on your soul's walls. They're proof of a track record too consistent to falter now. You are both battlefield and prize, warrior and sacred ground. This fight isn't for survival, but for legacy, a declaration to generations unborn that cycles of sickness end here. Your courage today becomes their inheritance tomorrow. Those who inherit your DNA will point to this moment as their liberation's genesis. In the coming days, when the world tries to drown heaven's voice with noise, cling to this truth, the same power that sustains galaxies' courses through your veins. Cells realign at his command. Immune systems rally like angel armies. Prognoses bow to his promises. The road ahead may win through valleys, but you walk it escorted. Note the synchronicities, the song that plays as you dial the clinic, the stranger's smile when courage wavers. These are winks from the divine, reminders that you're seen, known, and fiercely loved. Action is your worship now. Every phone call, every lab visit, every pill taken becomes a hymn of trust. You're not merely preserving a body, but stewarding a temple where miracles reside. The enemy sought a stronghold, but stumbled upon a sanctuary. Breathe deeply, dear heart. The journey may feel solitary, but heaven's host marches beside you. With each forward step, chains snap, shadows flee, and life abundant, relentless, radiant claims its rightful throne. The healer awaits. The time is now. Every breath you take is a testament to intentionality, the rhythm of your lungs, the cadence of your pulse, the intricate dance of neurons firing beneath your skin. These are not random biological processes, but living brushstrokes in a portrait painted with divine precision. The hands that shaped constellations also calibrated your nervous system. The voice that whispered galaxies into being now echoes through your capillaries with urgent love. What you've dismissed as background noise in your body, those flickers of discomfort, the fatigue that clings like morning mist, are in fact flares launched from heaven's observatory, signaling a sacred crossroads. Consider the oak tree that stands unyielding in storms, yet falls to silent beetles tunneling beneath its bark. Your resilience has been your pride, your ability to weather life's gales, while smiling through the ache. But there are whispers in your marrow, subtle shifts, even blood tests haven't captured that demand your attention. The divine gardener who planted you knows when blight approaches long before leaves yellow. What you've cataloged as stress responses are actually divine semaphore, flag signals from your cells saying, "Tend to me now before the frost sets in." This is not about alarm, but awakening, a call to partner with celestial foresight. Your body is a living palimpsest where generations have etched their stories, grandmother's endurance through famine, father's silenced heartache, the unspoken traumas that seeped into your DNA like groundwater, that twinge in your side, the vertigo you blamed on dehydration. These are not personal failures, but ancient battles surfacing for resolution. The healer of nations seeks to break chains that predate your birth, using your willingness to consult a physician as the chisel that shatters generational strongholds. Modern medicine is the unsung psalm in God's symphony of healing. When you sit in sterile waiting rooms clutching intake forms, you're not abandoning faith but activating it. Those MRI machines humming like mechanized monks? Their contemporary Urim and Thummim, revealing what sacred scrolls once disclosed through priests. The oncologist studying your scans, the rheumatologist tracing your inflammation. These are seers in lab coats, modern-day Daniels interpreting the writing on your cellular walls. Your obedience to seek their counsel turns clinics into sanctuaries where science and spirit perform their pièce de deux. The adversary thrives in shadowed corners of denial. He's crafted convincing narratives. Strong people don't complain. The faithful ones don't need scans. But courage isn't measured by what you endure silently, but by how boldly you confront truth. That colleague who nudged you to get checked, the friend who texted you seem off lately, these were angelic proxies, heaven's relay runners passing you the baton of intervention. Ignoring them isn't humility, it's allowing fear to masquerade as self-reliance. Envision your bloodstream as a river where divine and earthly remedies converge. Every vitamin capsule, every saline drip, every targeted therapy becomes holy water when received with gratitude. The IV line snaking through your vein isn't just delivering medication, it's a physical covenant. God's promise flowing liquid bright into your being. Those white-coated healers at your bedside, they're Levites in disguise, tending the temple of your flesh with consecrated skill. Procrastination wears many disguises, the project that can't wait, the calendar choked with obligations. But the master physician sees through these costumes. Your busyness is a sleight of hand trick, a distraction from the essential truth that you're irreplaceable. The world will spin if you pause, empires won't crumble if you prioritize your lymph nodes or blood sugar. This isn't self-indulgence, it's stewardship of a masterpiece on loan from eternity. There's alchemy in surrender. When you unclench your fists from the reins of control, miracles hitch their wagons to your obedience. That clinic across town with the 6-month waitlist suddenly has an opening. The specialist you researched is in network after all. These aren't coincidences, but divine rescripting, heaven bending bureaucratic hurdles into stepping stones. Your journey to wellness becomes a living parable, teaching others how grace navigates insurance forms and pharmacy queues. Consider pain as a cryptographer's code. Migraines throb in Morse, arthritis whispers in ciphers, irregular heartbeats stutter in binary. The great decoder rings your doorbell daily through these symptoms, asking to be let into the basement where root causes hide. What you've labeled as random malfunctions are actually love letters in Braille, urgent memos your fingers are learning to read. This is your Esther moment, the split-second choice between royal comfort and life-saving action. There's a version of this story where you stay silent, where dismissed symptoms crescendo into crisis. But you're being summoned to the throne room of prevention, where early detection becomes your scepter of authority. That mole you've monitored, the cough that lingers, they're not trifles but trumpet blasts announcing your court date with destiny. Legacy hangs in the balance. Your decision today writes prologues for descendants unborn. When your great-grandchild faces their own health crossroads, they'll draw strength from your boldness, how you transformed family narratives from "we don't go to doctors" to "we partner with heaven's wisdom." Your biopsy results could become future campfire tales told not with morbidity but triumph. This is how chains break. This is how courage looks wearing a hospital gown. The divine economy operates beyond human math. That bill you fear, the cost of delayed care far outweighs any price tag. Jehovah Jireh already moves in financial departments. Watch for unexpected reimbursements, grants for the uninsured, strangers settling balances. Your healing account was funded before symptoms appeared. You're simply withdrawing what's been reserved since creation's dawn. Skepticism will prowl, it always does. What if it's nothing? The mind taunts. But nothing is a myth in the economy of care. Peace of mind is priceless currency. Clean bills of health are sacred artifacts. Let technicians with ultrasound wands anoint you with gel and grace. If all's well, you've gained a testimony of prevention. If intervention's needed, you've caught Goliath while he's still knee-high. You're Abraham lifting the knife over Isaac, not knowing the ram waits in thickets. The CT scanner is your Moriah, the waiting room your testing ground. But resurrection always follows surrender. Whether through clear scans or treatment plans, deliverance comes to those who trust enough to climb the mountain. This journey is communion. Every swallowed pill becomes sacramental, not just chemicals interacting, but manna for your wilderness. The surgeon's blade, a fiery chariot cutting through enemy lines. Physical therapy sessions transform into holy pilgrimages, each stretch a kneeling prayer at healing's altar. Time bends around obedience. The hours you invest in waiting rooms yield compounded interest. More sunrises witnessed, more grandchildren held, more kingdom work completed. What feels like interruption is actually divine tempo, a sacred rallentando ensuring your life's song plays to its final measure. Let gratitude be your anesthesia. Each twinge, each abnormal result becomes a love note, not punishment, but protection. The nausea from chemo, a bitter herb recalling Passover's rescue. The radiation beam, pillar of fire purging what seeks to destroy. Even in shadowed valleys, the shepherd's staff guides you toward green pastures still awaiting your arrival. You're both patient and miracle. The same power that resurrected Lazarus quickens your white blood cells. The love that calmed storms now regulates your hormones. Prognoses bow to prophecies. Lab results kneel before declarations of faith. Modern medicine isn't plan B, it's the practical footwear for your walk of faith, the sandals that guard against life's jagged stones. So inhale courage, exhale excuses. Let each phone call to schedulers be a war cry. Every completed medical form becomes a scroll of victory. The enemy plotted sickness, but God scripted a recovery story starring your obedience. This clinic visit isn't the end, it's Genesis. The first sentence in a healing narrative that will echo through eternity's halls.